I realize I'm gonna have to do some type of color correction for this video. I don't know why my camera battery is like almost dead. I charged it. Hey guys, so it's me, Mishi. Today is November 11th, 2016. I just got the iPhone 7. I don't know if I like it yet. I literally just got this thing today. So I'm making this video because I just want to express my own certain opinions about LA. Everyone has their own opinions. This is just my opinion and my experience and kind of why I kind of wanted to withdraw from LA and the acting industry. These are some reasons why. There's so many reasons. I know I get attacked a lot. It's been over a year since my last audition. I get attacked a lot saying that you just didn't try hard enough and that like you're just a very mad, unsuccessful actor and that's why you quit. And I don't need to really defend myself, but that's not why I quit. I actually quit on a high note. I was with the top manager. I just booked a decent-sized film that is still playing on television. My career was on the upturn, but I was not happy in the career I was in, and it took me probably 6 months straight to decide that I didn't want to really be part of the industry anymore. And with the year of reflection, I'm still happy with my decision. Many people are glorified by the idea of LA because many YouTubers are now living there. All of your favorite Instagram famous people all live out there. And I just want to explain like what it's really like. Of course there's many positive aspects to Los Angeles, but these are going to be like all my letdowns I've experienced in LA, in the Hollywood industry in general, and just things that like people just don't know about and think that are actually true but aren't unless you live out here. I lived in Los Angeles City for 2 years and I was an actor for about 3 years, and I've been in this area all my life. I grew up next to Disneyland. I've lived down here and then I've experienced a lot specifically in LA, but I'm talking more specifically LA than Orange County, more Los Angeles, where pretty much all your favorite YouTubers live and everything. Los Angeles is my least favorite city. It is, and this is the reasons why I think LA is probably one of the most worst places to live in. Besides it being super expensive and having like okay weather, I think LA is honestly horrible. I don't know why people like LA so much. So I just want to start with just the simple location. So when you think of LA, your expectation is Hollywood, the location itself. You feel like you see palm trees everywhere and that nice cool buildings and cool mall areas and that there's red carpet over here somewhere, and then it's so easy to see the Hollywood sign and there's beaches and it's clean and everyone's having a dandy time. LA in general is hideous. If you go to Los Angeles, you realize that it's called the concrete jungle for a reason. Most of it is ugly, honestly. Where you're gonna live out there will be an ugly area. Hollywood, for instance, Hollywood is disgusting itself. The buildings are very old and there is no building is the same, so it's a whole bunch of weird different looking buildings all together and they're all old and under maintenance. There's dirt everywhere. Down Hollywood, where you actually see like the Hollywood stars walk, it's disgusting. You find poop on the street. Like it's not what you expect. Usually when people go, my friends that are tourists will come, they're usually very visually disappointed with just the way Los Angeles looks. Typically the images people show you of Los Angeles is the mall areas like the Grove, the Americana, and Rodeo Drive, which is in Beverly Hills, and that's where all those like little palm tree shots you get, like people driving down Rodeo Drive, and they're just these mall complexes. And the only really pretty places in LA is West Hollywood's okay, the west side in general is a pretty side, and downtown LA is kind of okay. Those areas are more beautiful, but everywhere else it's just very disgusting. You'll drive miles through just the central LA and you'd be like, all these buildings are ugly. And it's just not very pretty. Venice Beach, it's not that great. It's very dirty. Just everything is very dirty. Now the acting industry, acting in Hollywood of this video. So when you actually come out here and if you are an actor, the first thing you expect is you'll get an agent, quick. You'll be going on lots of auditions. You'll meet lots of celebrities, and you'll be auditioning for all of your favorite shows and lots of commercials. In reality, it's a lot more different. It's very hard to get auditions, and it's very hard to get an agent. And so some of your first auditions out here are of stuff you'll get yourself, and you'll be auditioning for like student films, and it's just, you don't really audition for even good projects. And then finally you get your first agent, and then your first agent still won't really get you to audition for great projects, and only once a month you maybe audition for your favorite show, and it's like a very small role. You're like girl number 2. It's not like a significant role. You don't really audition for greater roles until you get better agents. The catch-22, in order to get a better agent, you gotta book things that are significant. It took me, I got lucky. I got with a top management company. They're not currently number 3 top management, and it took me, I think 2 years to actually really get a good manager. Then once you do actually get a good agent, it's still very difficult, because if you still don't have credits, it's still very hard to go out and audition. Even with a good agent, you don't really audition that much. Also, like, with just acting in general, like, you feel, I've never found myself super attractive. I never thought of myself as like, like a 10 out of 10 or anything. If I would rate myself honestly, like on a 1 through 10 scale, I would rate myself anywhere between like a 7 to an 8 about like just like attractiveness. It's crazy, but you are against so many people that look a lot like you, and you may even argue are better versions of you. They're either more pretty, they're more talented, and like, the most gorgeous people I've ever seen was in Los Angeles, and I will go more into that later, but you start to feel very insecure and ugly like all the time when you're in LA, because people dress so nice and stylish, and there's so many beautiful people, and when you meet them at auditions, you see them all the time. They look just like you or similar casting type, and you will just compare yourself and you feel like very insecure. And when you ever book like a movie role or in any part of a project, one expectation normally people think is like, they're gonna, like, the makeup artist and hairstylist is gonna make you so beautiful, you're gonna look so gorgeous, because actors and actresses are always so gorgeous and beautiful in movies. Well, that's really not the case. In fact, when you actually get your hair and makeup done, probably 9 out of 10 times you're gonna hate the way you look. Even celebrities in movies, like professional celebrities, feel the same way when they're auditioning for movies. They're the character, and they never like really what their character looks like. For instance, like every time I'd go in, my makeup would be done a certain way, my hair will be done a certain way, and you don't feel like yourself, which is part of the character, but you don't ever feel gorgeous. And then you watch yourself on television with like the different makeup, the different hair, and then you see your different twerks and facial expressions. You like hit every single detail. Never do you think you're good looking on television. You always like hit every single detail, like, wow, I didn't know my nose looked like that. I didn't know my lips looked like that. I didn't know I made a weird eyebrow twitch. And then you become very, very like insecure. I'm not surprised why as many celebrities get plastic surgery when we thought they were so beautiful before. Yeah, basically I can understand why celebrities want to do plastic surgery. I honestly, living in LA as an actor, have never been I was probably the most insecure of my life living out there. Also with auditions, when you actually audition, you think that you're going to audition on these crazy big studio lots, and that you're going to meet crazy like celebrities at your auditions, and that they're going to be very extravagant looking. In fact, it's not really the case. Very rarely you audition on studio lots. I've auditioned pretty much on all the studio lots, but those are very rare, and they are kind of nice, and they give you a place to park. Most of the time it's a rented little studio office, even for big projects, somewhere in Hollywood, and it's always very ugly or run down. But yeah, I remember one place I auditioned, I went to the bathroom because this place was super run down, and it was a good project. I believe it was for a television show. What was it? I think it was a Disney television show. I went in and to the bathroom, and there was literally maggots inside the toilet there. That's how gross LA is sometimes. It's just like, you go in and you'd be like, wow, there's maggots in the toilet, and this is downtown Hollywood, like right off Sunset Boulevard. Another big thing is social media. As you can see, as I said, a lot of your friends and stuff, or a lot of people that you probably follow and YouTubers, they all live in LA, and it's just like social media, and so an expectation is like all people in LA are rich and social media famous, and that's not really the case. And in fact, social media really does lie. So it's just like everyone assumes that everyone's friends with each other and everyone knows each other. It's true that everyone does kind of know each other. It's Hollywood and acting industry itself is very, very small. Like, you got to be careful what you say, because someone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. And but social media lies. Like, a big part of why I just couldn't get an industry, and take it or leave it, I'm just not a big person on numbers. I like followers and likes, and I've never been a big part of that. If I was, this YouTube channel probably would have been a lot bigger. I'm just not. I like to make my own content and just be happy with what I make. But a lot of social media is, a lot of the followers, I know a lot of them, they don't care about their followers. All they care about is numbers and likes. And in order, how they became social media famous is that they buy themselves a nice camera, take hundreds of photos to get the perfect shot, and at the beginning stages follow tons of people, unfollow them, like tons of photos, unfollow them, go to fake Instagram meetups where a lot of famous people like are somewhat social elites. Instagram people meet up for 30 minutes, make it look like that they're all hanging out with each other just to take a good few photos, tag everybody in their photos, and leave. And that actually became part of the acting industry. Unfortunately, a lot of casting directors won't even want to hire you or look at you unless you have a large social media following, which has nothing to do with acting. It's just they want you to be popular because it's free advertising. That was always super frustrating. And so there's just a lot of those lies. Like, people I know would get in fake relationships just to like play on the emotions of their followers and steal each other's followers, because that's all a lot of them care about. But most of the people I meet are just so superficial in that aspect, and they're just not very pleasant. Like, a lot, not to be mean, but probably a lot of people you follow are probably some of the most unpleasant people I personally have met, and that's just my personal opinion. Of course, there's so many good gems out there, but personally, a lot of them are just not very nice people and very, very narcissistic, and I'll get into that later. There's also no such thing as overnight success. Now, a lot of people, when they come in straight to LA, they're thinking like, wow, I'm going to be discovered on the streets, I'm going to get an agent, it's that easy. There's no such thing as being discovered on the streets. There's no such thing as an overnight success. All overnight successes are not overnight. Some of them are 10 years in the making. For instance, Jennifer Lawrence has this made up story where like she was caught in Union, like in school, I think it was Central Park, I can't remember, in New York, and she got an agent. That's not true. She's been traveling multiple times to New York, knocking on every agency door in hopes some agent would pick her up. Most overnight success stories are made up by publicists just to razzle people. They don't exist. People, and I don't know why people make them up. Why can't we just talk about how hard you work to get there? There's a lot of hard work, and the people that are overnight successes are just lucky, but they're very few. And also, even successful actors are unsatisfied and struggled. I know many personal actors that are what you see the definition of successful. I've met some even celebrities that are by far successful, and every actor I've found is unsatisfied with their careers unless you're Meryl Streep, who has many Oscars. Almost every actor I know is very unsatisfied with their careers because they're always comparing themselves to somebody else. For example, like you might think Leonardo DiCaprio is like, everyone wants to be him. Well, you know what? He probably has been unsatisfied his career for years because he just couldn't get that Oscar. Like, a lot of them are just unsatisfied, or people that had like a good hot 5 years on a television show that I'll meet, and they're still now trying to find other jobs, and they're only famous from their television show. They're still unsatisfied because they want to be the movie star. There's no really super satisfied people there, and that's another reason why I wanted to pull out, because I realized a lot of people just couldn't find contentment because they're always basing it on other people. And even very successful actors still struggle to find jobs and still struggle with the same BS lower actors deal with, where it's just like they get hired, then they get fired, they get replaced by somebody younger. Even your favorite celebrities like Anne Hathaway gets fired for someone who's 10 years younger. It's just a very, very tough industry in general, and you gotta really figure out ways to find happiness, which is why you see so many celebrities very like depressed, unhappy, do drugs, go into alcohol, unless they have like some type of form of strong family unit. A lot of them have a lot of psychological issues, and a lot of it, this industry causes a lot. I've personally dealt with so much, and I haven't even dealt with a small portion of what some of my friends deal with who are successful. The last thing I'm going to get on is LA people outside of the acting industry. Now I'm going to talk about people in general in LA and what I've experienced. Now this is of course not all people, but in general what I find. So the majority of people you'll meet in LA are very young. They're between the ages, a lot of them are under the age of 35 unless they're working, that you'll run into. There's very young people. I call it the city of vampires. It's just a lot of very young and very attractive people that put on like their best makeup, their best clothes, Louis Vuitton, Gucci bags, stuff that they can't even afford, because it's a culture where you're very guarded and want to present the best. Like that's why a lot of people are so attracted to LA, because a lot of people represent, like show and post like things that like make it look like exciting. Like, look at the people I'm hanging out with, look at the stuff I'm doing, look at my car, look at my hat. That's what you see on Instagram and everything, and on YouTube, and and that's what you see in LA, and you're surrounded by it. And a lot of these people are not very happy people. I know, and I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of them have a lot. It's a culture where you feel like you have to feel dolled up to impress people you don't like. It's like, I call it, you work a job you hate to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. There's a lot of that in that culture. So since people are very guarded and like very into appearances, people tend to have a more fake personality, and it's hard to meet very genuine people. It's because they have this big guard up. And so I'm not saying all people are fake, but there is a lot of superficial people I've met out there that I would kind of say like, yeah, they're just very superficial. It's just all they care about is their clothes and their followers. But there's a lot of that. That's probably most young actors getting into the industry. Like, look, I'm an Instagram model now, so I'm going to be an actor too. It's just kind of funny to me. But, I mean, they can do what they want, but there's a lot of that superficialness, and when you meet a lot of people, it's hard to meet, like, a genuine gem that, like, really cares and wants to talk and get to know other people. It's just very guarded, and people are not guarded and then there's very guarded culture, and it's also a very me culture. It's always a very, all about you kind of culture. Like, they'll ask, who are you? Which basically means, like, what have you done? Who have you worked with? And that's like a big question. People like this, like, oh, who have you worked with? What have you done? And then you just make a big list of everything you've done, and then they do like a big list of everything they've done and who they know. It's a very me-centered culture, and it was very difficult for me to get part of that culture and like make friends with a lot of those type of people. A lot of the times, people won't talk to you unless you're somebody, and people tend to be very cold to other people and kind of very into themselves, is what I've realized in that culture. And finally, when you go to LA, the funniest thing I think is that everybody thinks they're famous or somebody there, and it's kind of really sad. Because people there are so into like followers and wanting to be famous there. Like, a lot of them are very obsessed with it. They'll try to prove to you that they're somebody, and it you know, I mean, it's like not like a super big deal, but it's just kind of makes your heart sink a little bit, you know. It's just, it feels fake, it doesn't feel genuine, and it's very like basing your self-acceptance on what others think of you. And I'm not for that type of culture, not at all, and it just breaks my heart. Well, that's pretty much the end of my video. I apologize for how long it is, and I just wanted to make a video just about it. I do think a lot of people get starstruck by Los Angeles and the weather and the people that they meet, but then after a year it all changes, you know. The grass is always greener on the other side, is what I have learned about everything in this life. So take everything, what I said, with a grain of salt, and remember that you don't need to live in LA to have this crazy, adventurous life. that I think some people are starting to think. Anyways, I am happy that you guys watched this video. If you want to watch more of these type of videos, let me know, and if you want to keep watching my videos, just leave a like and subscribe. If not, that's cool. We're still friends. I'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching.